This conference will
Um,
now be recorded.
so during this demo session, if you have any questions, request you to please make a note of them, and we can discuss at the end. Because I just don't want to get deviated, in the demo session itself, based on some questions. So whatever the questions you have, please make a note of it, and we'll address all of the questions, at the end. Okay. And if you have any audio issues and all, request you to just disconnect and connect again. Uh, Mostly it will be resolved by then. Okay. So, okay. So hope you are able to see the screen now, where there is a list of points, within the, it's part of
Yes,
the agenda. Okay.
yes,
So for today's session, the agenda will be what is performance testing, LoadRunner architecture, because LoadRunner is one of the performance testing tool. So the LoadRunner architecture will be discussed, and we will also see a small practical example of how to record a script using LoadRunner tool, and how the code is generated, and how to understand, the code. Then we'll discuss about the LoadRunner course content. What are the topics that are included? How long the sessions will run, and all those things. And finally, at the end of this, you can post all your questions either through the chat option available, or you can post the question directly. I suggest, if you are okay to, post the question directly, just speak up, and we can have a conversation, so that others can also understand the question. Okay. If not, you can also post the question in the chat window. Anything is fine for me. So with the first, any queries as of now? I hope all are good with the points mentioned just now, right?
yes.
Okay. So before we start understanding what is performance testing, I would like to present a slide which explains about the software testing itself. Okay, because within software testing we have a functional testing on one side, and the non-functional testing on the other side. Okay, so what do you mean by functional testing? How is it different from non-functional testing? Functional testing is all about testing the functionality of the application. Okay, for example, if you have a Gmail application, if I ask you to test whether the login is working fine or not, how would you validate? You first enter a valid username, and then you enter the valid password, and then click on login or sign in. If the user is able to log in successfully after entering valid username and valid password, that means you are kind of testing the functionality, right? So so functional testing is all about testing the core functionality of the application. Okay. And within the functional testing, we have some different types of testing, like regression testing, integration testing, and so on. What are the different tools that we use for functional testing? Automation. If you see automation, we have Selenium, UFT, right? Selenium, UFT. One second. Uh, okay. So we have Selenium, UFT, which are automation tools, automation regression tools, right? So coming to the non-functional testing, how is it different from functional testing? In functional testing, we will be testing the core functionality. But when it comes to non-functional testing, okay, it is all about testing the non-functional aspects like performance, security, usability, etc. So within non-functional testing, we have the performance testing. The performance testing comes under the non-functional testing space. So as part of functional testing, okay, the user focuses on the on testing the functionality part. But whereas a performance tester will primarily focus on the performance of the application. Okay, the primary focus of the performance tester is to check the performance of the application. Okay, how fast the application is responding. Okay, how fast they pay, or how fast the user, if you click a link or if you click a button, how fast it is navigating from one page to another page. Okay, so the performance tester, the performance testing, is all about, okay, checking the performance of the application in terms of speed, responsiveness, and also stability. Also, how stable is your application? Okay, so within performance testing, we have different tools again, like LoadRunner, Jmeter, Gatling, NeoLoad, etc. There are different tools in the market, but the most widely used tools are LoadRunner and Jmeter. Okay, LoadRunner and Jmeter are the most widely used tools in the market. Okay, so for example, if I would like to just give a small understanding of the functional testing and the non-functional testing. Let's say this is a sample application. Okay, so if I ask you to test the functionality of login, what would you do? You just enter some username here, isn't it? You just enter some username and password, and you click on login button. Okay, what happened? The user successfully navigated to home page. That means the login functionality is working fine. So the functional tester will concentrate on this particular aspect. Okay, whether everything is working fine or not in terms of functionality. For example, if you click a flights button over here on the left hand side, there is a flights button. If you click on flights button, to which page it has to redirect? Is it redirecting to the correct page or not? So the functional tester will focus on that, and and some of the other UI aspects also, like whether the text is coming properly or not, and all those things. But whereas the performance tester, okay, so once you enter the username and password, once you enter the username and password again, and if you log in, the performance tester, the primary task of the performance tester is to analyze how fast it navigated to the next page, or how fast the user navigated to the home page. So once you enter username and password and click on sign in button, how much time it has taken for the user to navigate, okay, to the home page. That's where the performance tester is more interested. That's the primary task. Okay, so on a whole, the performance testing is all about checking the speed, responsiveness, and stability of the application. Speed means how fast the user is able to navigate from one page to another page. Responsiveness means, how fast the page is loading. Okay, some of the pages, you might have seen so many times, the pages load slowly. Some of the pages will keep on loading forever. I'm sure most of you might have faced this issue at some point of time, isn't it? So, uh, in simple terms, the performance testing is all about checking the performance, that is in terms of speed, in terms of responsiveness, in terms of stability of that particular application. Okay, so let's take another example, like a normal, simple, generic example. So if you take a lift, okay, we all know the lift, right? Okay, so let's say you one person, let's say, enter into the lift and then press number 3. Let's say the person is on the ground floor. He just entered into the lift and just pressed number 3. That is third floor button. So what happens? The lift door should close and the lift should go to third floor and stop. Okay. So what is that all about? There, the user is checking the functionality. That means when you press 3, is it going to third floor or not? Okay. That's what the functional tester will check. But when it comes to the performance testing, what we have to do, if how much time it is taking for that particular person to or for the lift to go to third floor, how much time it is taking for the lift to go to third floor is all about the performance. Okay, so one more important point I would like to add: when it comes to performance, you cannot test the performance with one user. Okay, that means it's not a good idea to test the performance with one user. So for example, in the same lift, if one user goes to third floor, uh, I mean, that's not called as performance testing altogether. Okay, that's not how you analyze the performance. How do you analyze the performance? When, let's say that lift capacity is eight members. Okay, the lift capacity is 8 members. So when 8 people are on board, that means when 8 people enter into the lift and press 3, that means the third floor, then you have to see how much time it is taking to go to third floor. So when it comes to performance, there should be some load on that particular, if we talk in terms of software, there should be some amount of load that we have to apply. Okay, normally if one person is going to third floor, that doesn't make any sense, right? If 8 people are within the lift, that is a max capacity, and then you have to check the performance. Okay, how much time it is taking. Same thing with respect to the application, software applications also. If you are testing the performance with one user, that doesn't make sense. When 100 people, 200 users, 100 users, when I say people or users, they both, you know, correlate. So when 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, or max number of people access the application, the software application, then how it is responding, how fast the application is responding. Okay, how fast a user or is able to navigate from one page to another page. So then you have to analyze the performance. That means there should be some amount of load. So performance testing is all about checking the performance of an application by applying some load. Without load, you cannot analyze the performance practically, practically, right? So hope you understood, what is performance testing. Okay, in general, we haven't discussed about any textbook definition. Okay, so far we haven't discussed about any textbook definition. We are just trying to understand the concept of performance testing. Okay, so you can make a note of it also. So it's a simple one-liner. Performance testing is all about checking the performance of an application by applying some load. Okay, and you can also mention checking the performance in terms of speed, responsiveness, and stability. Okay, those are three keywords that we can use as part of performance testing definition. Okay, so one second. Okay, so this is about software testing and what is performance testing. Now there is one more slide. Okay, there is one more slide which explains why performance testing and what happens if you don't do any performance testing for the software. Okay, so here if you see, if performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, pages loading forever, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss. How many of you remember, maybe in 2014 or 15, I don't exactly remember the year, but that was the first time the e-commerce website, okay, the famous e-commerce website, they announced a big sale for the first time. Now we are seeing those big sales frequently, like big season sale, big sale, whatever it is, festival sale. So on those days, in those days, that was the first time the big sale was announced by the e-commerce vendor. And then let's say they announced, like, a big sale starting on 12 p.m. so and so date. So on that day, what happened, as soon as the big sale started, so many people, okay, tried to access the e-commerce website, and they tried purchasing or buying some of the items. So then what happened, due to sudden increase in the users, in the user volume, that due to sudden increase in terms of users, the number of users suddenly increased, and the e-commerce website crashed. I don't know how many of you remember this. Okay, so what happened then, there were more number of people accessing the application than the expected load. Okay, they expected 500, but let's say the number of users turned out to be 5000. Then the application crashed. Okay, so for that reason, you have to do the performance testing. Without performance testing, if you go ahead and deploy into production, or if you release into market, the application might face some issues, okay, and it will definitely impact the financial part also, financial part also. Okay, so let's say you are accessing one application, it is very slow. What will you do? You will bear for one time, you will bear for second time, third time you will say, okay, okay, that's enough, let me switch to another application which provides same features, obviously, right? Right, so that's the reason no business person will be okay to lose customers, because it will directly impact the financial part. Okay, so if performance testing is not conducted, then the applications might face problems like slowness, pages loading forever, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss as well. Okay, what is the goal of performance testing? Okay, I have mentioned one point here. The main goal of performance testing is to identify performance bottlenecks. Bottlenecks means issues only. Normally, we generally write issues. The goal of performance testing is to find performance issues. But in performance testing terminology, we mention issues as bottlenecks. Okay, so the primary goal of performance tester is to find performance issues rather than finding functional bugs. Functional bugs will be taken care by functional testers or the manual testers. We need not worry about the functional bugs much, they will take care of it. After fixing all those functional bugs only, the performance testing will start actually. Okay, so no need to worry about functional bugs. Our primary goal should always be to find out the performance issues like application slowness, application not responding, page not loading, those kind of issues. Okay, so by now I hope you got some idea about what is performance testing, why it is very important. Okay, and why every application has to undergo the performance testing phase before getting released into the market. Okay, so that is about performance testing. And within this performance testing space, we have so many tools in the market like LoadRunner, Jmeter, okay, near load, Gatling, and all. But the major, most widely used tools are LoadRunner and Jmeter. LoadRunner and Jmeter. So, because this is a LoadRunner sessions, so I will be explaining you about the LoadRunner architecture today. Okay, very important in terms of understanding how it works, what are the different components involved, and all those things. Okay, so okay, let me open a slide and go here and okay. So the architecture diagram of LoadRunner we will derive by posting some questions to ourselves. Okay, so let's say there is one bank application. Let's take any application. Let's say it's a bank website. Now, if I ask you to do a performance testing for the bank application with 500 users. Users means the people who access the application. So in performance testing terminology, we call them as users. So if I ask you to do a performance testing of a bank application with 500 users, how would you do it? What is your approach? Will you bring 500 people? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops and ask them to access the bank application and perform some actions simultaneously? Will you be able to do that? Anyone? Yes or no?
No, no.
No. I mean, it's possible, but it's possible for 500 people, but it includes, it involves huge amount of effort, funding, budget, and all those things. But let's say if I ask you to do the same type of performance testing with 5,000 users, now will you be able to bring 5,000 people? No, it is not possible. So what should you do? For that reason, the load runner has provided a component for us, which we call it as load generator. This load generator is a component, okay, which will simulate the virtual users for us. Okay, which will simulate the virtual users. What will these virtual users do? They actually mimic the human actions. So whatever the human user does, right, the same actions the virtual user also will perform. Okay, so in fact the load generator is also a machine, but a highly configured machine. Why highly configured machine? Because it has to support okay, some number of users. It has to generate some number of users. See, every one load generator machine cannot generate 1 lakh users, 2 lakhs users like that. No, one load generator machine can generate some number of users based on its configuration. Like let's say the RAM is 32 GB. Okay, so based on that RAM, let's say it can generate 3000 users, 5000 users, like that, depending on the configuration. We will discuss in detail in our upcoming session, in our upcoming sessions, like on what basis, okay, a machine, we can say a machine can generate 3000 or 5000 or the exact number. Okay, but for now let's understand that there is a component called load generator, which is used to simulate the virtual users for us. So instead of bringing the real people to do the performance testing, we are simulating the virtual users with the help of load generator component. Okay, why we have to simulate virtual users? Because why we have to simulate 3000 virtual users? As I said few minutes ago, load testing or the performance testing cannot be done with with one user. If you do a performance testing with one user, it cannot be counted as a performance testing at all. Okay, the performance testing has to be done by applying some load. What do you mean by load? Load means some number of users. Okay, who will generate? Load generator will generate. Okay, so hope you are clear with this component. Okay, then okay, let's say the virtual users are ready. I mean, let's say the load generator is able to simulate the virtual users. That's fine, we have that component ready.
I'm sorry to
Now,
interrupt you. I have one question over here.
yes, please.
For load generator, every load generator, is there any capacity for the users, like thousands or 500, or it depends upon the organization level?
No, it depends on the configuration of the load generator machine. Okay, like the RAM and all those things. And at the same time, it also depends on the protocol that we use. Okay, there is something called protocol. So
Mm-hmm.
based on that protocol and based on the configuration of the load generator machine, we can clearly tell like how many users it can simulate. So so to discuss in detail about those things, maybe we have to wait for the upcoming sessions, because it
Sure.
needs more time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have this load generator component ready. Okay, now let's say, um, if I ask you to test, let's say because it's a bank application, if I ask you to test some important critical scenario. Generally, what are the critical scenarios for a bank application? Transfer money, download bank statement, right? Paying credit card bill. These are the important critical scenarios, right? So every critical scenario should be performance tested. Okay, so let's say one of the critical scenario is transfer money. Okay, one of the critical scenario is transfer money. So for transfer money, what are the sequence of steps that you do, that you implement or that you run? First, you will launch the application, isn't it? Launch bank application. You want to transfer money. What will you do? You launch the bank application, then you log in, right? Then you navigate to your account, like savings account or whatever it is. Okay. Then you select a beneficiary, something like that. Select a beneficiary, then enter amount. Okay, and let's say click transfer or whatever it is, and then you log out. These are the common steps that we do for transferring money. Now, for the performance testing, if I ask you to do a performance testing for transfer money scenario, okay, so these are the steps involved. So if you want to run these steps, if you want to do a performance testing for transfer money scenario, you have to run these steps. Okay, with many users. So that means like 100 users or 200 users, they have to run these steps. Then how do you run these steps? Okay, so there should be some component for you which should allow you to record this flow, okay, or record these steps or generate a script for these steps. Okay, so that particular component is called Vusion. So Vusion is a component of LoadRunner architecture which will allow you to record or generate the script for the flows, okay, for the critical business flows. Okay, so for every critical scenario there will be some sequence of steps. Okay, so we have to record, okay, or we have to generate a script for those flows, okay, and be ready for execution. We have to enhance or if required and be ready for execution. So let's say we two components are ready, like load generator and Vusion. Now when you develop all the scripts using Vusion component, when you develop all the scripts using Vusion component, now there should be some platform or component where you can upload those scripts and trigger execution, isn't it? So you have scripts ready. What will you do? You need some component where you can upload those scripts and trigger the execution. So that component is called controller or performance center. Okay, so this controller or performance center, what it does, the scripts whatever we are developing, we will upload them into controller or performance center and create scenarios, different types of scenarios, like load test, endurance test, and so on, and then we will trigger the execution. Okay, so the primary functionality of the controller or performance center component is to create scenarios, upload scripts, do all the configurations, change, make all the settings, okay, and then trigger the execution. So once the execution is done, okay, once the execution is done, so what happens? Where the execution will happen? There is one common interview question. Where the execution will happen? Can anyone tell? Based on what we have discussed so far, can anyone just guess where the
Controller.
execution exactly will happen?
Controller.
Controller.
See, controller is a component which is used to upload scripts, create scenario, and just trigger the execution. But the actual execution will happen in load generator machine, because that's the place where the users are generated and the load is applied. So what happens is, when you upload scripts from Vusion to controller, okay, when you start execution, the controller will transfer all the scripts to load generator machine and the actual execution happens here. Now, how the transfer happens? There is another component called internally, which we call it as agent process. There is a component called agent process which will act as a bridge between controller and load generator. So I mean, transferring all the data and make communication between controller and load generator. Okay, so the agent process will take care of it. So all the scripts will be transferred to load generator machine where the users will be generated. Okay, and then the execution exactly happens here. Okay, where the execution happens here. Now once the execution happens, so there should be some component where or which should allow us to analyze the results. Okay, so that particular component is called analysis. So this is very important, good component, okay, which will give you so many metrics, so many graphs, okay, like graphical view, pie charts, whatever it is. Okay, so whatever the metrics that we need to analyze the performance of the application, all the important metrics will be provided by the analysis component once the execution is done. So all in all, these are the components that are part of LoadRunner architecture. Okay, because this is a demo session, I'm just giving you a brief introduction of all these components, what exactly they do. Okay, so uh, we will be implementing this practically also, like so all these components, so Vusion, controller, analysis, all these things we'll be seeing practically. Okay, so this is LoadRunner architecture, If you have any questions, please make a note of it. Don't forget to make a note of it. Okay, I can come back to this slide and explain again later. Okay, so all in all, these are the components, guys. So it's 9:34, right? Because uh, we still have to complete this sample recording and course content also, right? So I'll take all the questions at the end. So now, in this slide, we have seen different components. Now, can anyone tell which is the component that I have to use for recording or generating the script? See, now my next agenda point will be sample recording of script. Now, which component I have to use for sample recording? Recording the
Fusion.
script? Fusion,
Fusion.
right? Exactly. So once you install LoadRunner, Vuegen controller analysis will come by default, right? So what you do is go to search and type Vuegen, and it will come. This icon will come up, Vuegen. Okay, just click on that, and it will automatically start the Vuegen. Okay, so this component is for recording or generating the script or enhancing the script. Okay, so this is the screen. Now, what is that we are going to record? So we have just seen the sample application here, isn't it? So this is a sample application provided by Micro Focus. So so LoadRunner is owned by Micro Focus, and they have provided this sample application. So what are we going to do is we are going to record three simple steps for this sample application: launch, then login, then logout. These are the three steps that we are going to record now. Okay, and see how the code is getting generated, and then we will replay the script also. Okay, so here I just launched Vuegen. Now I'll go to file, I'll click on file, new script and solution. Okay, new script and solution. So this pop-up window will appear. Okay, this pop-up window will appear. So here you have to choose the protocol. So the protocol what we have chosen here is a web HTTP HTML protocol. So all the web applications, right? So all the web applications will have mostly this protocol. We have to use this protocol for all the web applications. Okay, so now what we have to do after selecting the protocol, there are different protocols. We'll discuss later in our upcoming sessions about the protocol. But for now, what I can tell you is for the web applications, we have to choose this protocol. Okay, and then give some script name. Let's say I will give it as demo. And where do you want to save the script? That path you have to mention. Let's say I want to create a new folder. Okay, let's say I want to create a new folder. So let's say I'll create a new folder. Okay, something like this, something like let me do one thing. I'll create a new folder 2023. One second. Okay, so here I'm going to create another folder and save it. Okay, okay, so this is a folder where I'm going to save the script. D drive scripts, this folder. Okay, and this is a script name demo, and click on create. Once you click on create, the default script layout will appear. Okay, here this white screen editor, this is a code editor where you will see the recorded script or the code that got generated after recording. Okay, on the left hand side you have the solution explorer. Okay, where you have different options, like some of the options like passing test data to the script, and applying some runtime settings, how you want to run the script. Okay, and just to see the recording report. Okay, and then there are different actions here which we'll discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Some extra files to declare some global variables and so on. Okay, so anyhow, we'll discuss all those things in detail again. So for now, what we are going to do, we are going to record the script. For recording the script, for recording the flow, three steps: launch, login, log off. There is an icon over here to click to start recording. Okay, so what you do, just click on that record icon, which will again uh, give another pop-up window. So here you have to choose the action. This option we'll discuss in our upcoming session again in detail. So here you have to choose the browser, like which browser you want to use for recording purpose. So you are recording the flow. Okay, so what is the browser that you want to use? Firefox, Edge, or Chrome? Which browser you want to use? So let's say I want to use Firefox. I have chosen Firefox, and then here you have to give the URL. Okay, the different URLs. Okay, whatever the URL means the application what you test. URL means the application what you test. Okay, so let's say I've given this URL. I'm going to give this is a sample URL. Okay, I can just paste it here. I'll just give you at the end of this session. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Let it be. Okay, so this is the URL address which I'll share in some time. This is a browser I have chosen, Firefox. This is the URL or the application I want to record, and then all the other options we'll discuss later in our upcoming session. Just click on Start Recording. So when you click on Start Recording, what will happen is this browser will be launched with this given URL. What happens when you click on Start Recording? This browser Firefox will be launched with this given URL. Okay, so let me click on Start Recording. As soon as I click on Start Recording, now you will see the Mozilla Firefox being launched with the given URL. At the same time, you also see a movable window like this. See, a movable window. In this movable window, you see some number over here, which keeps on increasing. Okay, when it keeps on increasing, actually it's a good sign. What does that mean? It means that your tool is able to successfully record the application flow. When the number keeps on increasing, it's actually a good sign. We'll discuss again in detail. For now, it means that the tool is able to record the application successfully. Okay, then of course the application launched. Then you have different options over here like cancel recording, sorry, stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording. Okay, comment. Different options are there. We'll discuss all those options later. But for now, I'm going to tell these two options. What are the two options? These are the two options that I'm going to explain you. One is start transaction. The other one, which is currently disabled, is end transaction. The other one currently disabled is end transaction. Okay, so what do you mean by the start transaction? Or that means insert start transaction. Okay, this is insert end transaction. This is insert start transaction. What do you mean by this? These are very, very important. So whenever you are about to perform some action on the UI, let's say I want to log in next because the application is already launched. I want to log in now. Whatever the action that you are going to perform next, the transaction name you have to enter by clicking here. So if you click on it, it says insert start transaction. So if I click on it, you have to give some name. What is the next action that I'm going to perform? Login. So you have to give the name. Let's say login. Click OK. When you click OK, then this end transaction will be enabled, but don't click it. So what you have to do before that? You have to manually go and perform the action whatever you want. So for whatever the transaction you started, whatever the action that you started login, just do it manually, for example. So here you enter username, password, and click on login button. Okay. Okay. Now the login is done. Now when the login is done, wait for 4 or 5 seconds or the page to load completely, and then click on end transaction. Click on end transaction, insert end transaction, and click login. What happened just now? You ended the login transaction. That means you started login, you ended login. Why we have to do these steps? Because when you replay the script, it has to tell you how much time it has taken to run login, how much time it has taken to run logout. So all these steps. So because it has to provide some information to us, we have to follow this process. Okay. Now what is the next step that we have to do? Logout, right? So again, insert start transaction, then go ahead and write logout and click OK, and then manually go and sign off. Click sign off button on the left hand side. See, I just clicked on sign off button on the left hand side. Now the application logged off. If you want, you can close the browser, or you can simply insert end transaction and click logout button. That's it. So logout is also done. Okay, that means we are separating the actions that we are performing, so that the tool can give us the exact time, how much time it is taking to replay for those actions. Okay, now the recording is done, all the steps are done. Now click on stop recording. When you click on stop recording, the tool will generate the script for us. So it is generating the script for us. Okay, it is generating the script for us. So this recording report we'll discuss in our upcoming session. Just click on the action tab over here, or the action option over here, to see the recorded script. So this is what it generated. So how many lines? Approximately 50 lines. Approximately 50 lines of code it generated. Now, if you understand clearly these steps, okay, what happened? If you see line number 18, it says LR start transaction login. This is a load runner method. LR start transaction, it says login. Okay. And if you see line number 37, LR end transaction login. If you see line number 37, it says LR end transaction login. So here we have started, here we have ended. You remember a few minutes ago, I just inserted start transaction, right? So for that, it generated this code. Again, for performing that action manually, it generated this code. You see, we have entered username and password as Jojo and Bean. Okay, and after performing the action, I clicked on end transaction. If you remember, for that, it generated this code. So this is the start transaction login. This is end transaction login. Whatever the code that is present between start transaction of login and end transaction of login, this code belongs to login. This code belongs to login. Got it? Now, if you scroll down a little bit, line number 41, if you see LR start transaction logout, and line number 53, if you see LR end transaction logout. Start transaction, end transaction logout. If you remember again, few minutes ago, I did an insert start transaction for logout. For that, this particular piece of code generated. And then I went ahead and clicked on sign off button. For that, this piece of code generated. And after that, I clicked on insert end transaction. Okay, I clicked on logout. So for that, this piece of code generated. Now, within this start transaction of logout and end transaction of logout, whatever the code is there, that belongs to logout. That belongs to logout. Can anyone tell now, based on this, what is this code? Can anyone tell what is this request based on what we have understood so far? Can anyone tell what is this code?
Send in the URL.
So this is launch request. This is launch. Okay, so before login, this is launch. But if you observe carefully, there is no LR start transaction nor LR end transaction for launch. Can anyone tell why? Any guess why? Because when you click on start recording here, okay, when you click on start recording here, it automatically launches the browser with the given URL. Okay, we didn't go to the step where we have to insert start transaction and insert end transaction. That's the reason you didn't see LR start transaction and LR end transaction for launch. However, you can add it manually. For example, here you can write LR underscore start underscore transaction. This is a load runner method. This is a load runner method. Okay, just a demo session, right? So we have so much in detail to discuss in our upcoming sessions. So I just added LR start transaction launch, and where I have to end. Can anyone tell where, in which line number? After which line number I have to write LR end transaction? Can anyone tell?
17.
Yeah, after 16 you can write. Yes.
Yes.
LR end transaction. Okay, LR end transaction. Okay. So here you have to write. You have to write the same name, guys. Don't write any other names. Even even the case is also important. Okay, capital letters, small letters is also important. Then we have to write LR auto as per the syntax. I will discuss what is LR auto later. Okay, so now you see we have LR start transaction launch, LR end transaction launch. This code belongs to launch. Then you have LR start transaction login, LR end transaction login. This code belongs to login. Then you see LR start transaction logout, LR end transaction logout. This code belongs to logout. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run once, only once. Okay, I'm going to make a small change, not change actually. Basically, yeah, that should be fine, I guess. So let me run it once. Okay, I'm just replaying the script. Why? Because I just want to show you like how the temporary response time report will come up. The summary report will come up. Okay, I just clicked on replay. I have to click this icon. I just click this icon to replay the script, whatever we recorded, and this is how the summary report has come up. So here you see launch, login, logout. Launch has taken 0.450 seconds. Login has taken 0.201 seconds. Logout has taken 0.479 seconds. So like this, if you don't give LR start transaction, LR end transaction, right? You won't get these response times. That's the reason while recording, insert start transaction and insert end transaction is mandatory, important. Now it will give you these response times like this. Now you can ask me, sir, uh, uh, you are getting like 0.4, 0.2 like that, but is there any standard number that we cannot exceed, or that we should not exceed, or that the application should not exceed? Yes, as per the industry standard, if you click a link or click a button, it should not take more than 2 seconds to navigate from one page to another page, as per the industry standard. However, there are some exceptions based on the project architecture complexity. The client might be okay with 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 7 seconds also, depending on the project. But if you ask me, as per the industry standard, it is 2 seconds. Okay, now if you open a Facebook, now you click a profile, to see that profile page, it should not take more than 2 seconds. You clicked on notification, it should not take more than 2 seconds to display that notification. You clicked on download, you clicked on transfer money, it should not take more than 2 seconds. Okay, so like that. Okay, so this is how you generally record and generate the script. And sometimes you have to enhance it, customize the script. Okay, so for that reason we have some different concepts to implement. Okay, so going back to our agenda, hope you guys understood like how to record and replay the script. Okay, just a small example I have shown today. Then we'll be discussing about the LoadRunner course content, and then I'll take some questions. Okay, so LoadRunner course content. So this LoadRunner course will be taught from very basic to advanced level. Okay, the scripting and all the other concepts will be taught from basic to advanced level for sure. Okay, so we will begin with architecture basics, introduction to performance testing life cycle. Okay, so generally, if you see, development team will have software development life cycle, functional testing will have software testing life cycle. The performance testing team also have something called performance testing life cycle, where we have different concepts to discuss. Okay, then we have introduction to LoadRunner. So we'll see how to install, what are the different components, recording, replay, different features of Vusion tool. Okay, okay, and then best scripting practices in Vusion, best scripting practices. Okay, and then you have something important called runtime settings. These are all the concepts and features of the tool, Vusion component. Then you have different recording options. Then you have checkpoints. Checkpoints means assertions only. If any one of you are coming from automation like UFT or Selenium, you might have heard about assertions. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
click the link. Yeah, you click the link. You want to
Verify.
validate something. Yeah, you want to validate or verify something on the next page, right? So here also we can do the same thing by implementing the concept of checkpoints. Okay, then this is important, introduction to C language. Now most of you guys might ask me, how much of coding is required? Is coding mandatory for LoadRunner? And I'll definitely say yes. I'll not I'm not going to say that no coding is required and all. I'm not going to say, because we have to be practical, right? So coding is required, okay, especially when you have to write customized code or enhance your code depending on some specific requirement. But how much of coding is required is important, okay. And I can assure you that whatever the concepts, the basic concepts that we are covering as part of this course are more than enough to write any customized code for your applications, okay, anything. So the basic concepts are, very well, I know very few might be new to IT, okay, but most of you might be from IT background itself, and you might know these concepts. Like, I mean, you might have heard about these variables, data types, if statements, loops and conditions, select case statements, functions, right? So these are the basic concepts that we have to learn, okay, we will be covering, so which will assist us in writing customized code. And don't worry, and the guys coming from non-IT, don't worry, because we are covering these sessions for 4 to 5 days, okay, 4 to 5 sessions, and it's more than enough for anyone to learn and grasp these concepts, even if you are from non-IT, okay. And I'll add a couple of more points on that after this course content discussion. Okay, now just now we have recorded the script. If you want to enhance that script or customize that script to some for some feature or something like that, then you have to use C language. If you want to do some mathematical operations, arithmetic operations, string operations, you can use any C language concepts. You can do, you can, if you want to compare two strings, okay, if you want to loop through different values, then you have to use loops. So these are the concepts that we'll be learning as part of this course, because without these concepts you cannot master advanced scripting. Yes, you can record and replay, but you cannot master advanced scripting, which is nowadays very, very important, okay. So let me go to next slide. Then again, you have some inbuilt C language functions and load runner functions we'll discuss, very, very important. Some couple of not couple of things, only one concept actually, that is how to read and write data from files. There might be some requirement, like where you have to write some data into some notepad file or read some data from notepad file. We will be discussing that, and also we'll discuss some real-time challenges, okay. Then you have some important concept called correlation. This we'll discuss for again like 4 days or so. This is not something specific to LoadRunner. This is common to performance testing tools. Like in fact, Jmeter also has the same concept. LoadRunner also has the same concept, but the implementation is different. The way we implement this concept in LoadRunner is different. The way we implement this concept in Jmeter is different. Okay, but the concept is same. Then you have parameterization. Parameterization again we'll discuss for 3 days. So it's all about passing test data to the script. See, because when we do a performance testing, we have to test with huge numbers, many number of users. So then we need more amount of data, right? So that's the reason we use this concept parameterization to pass test data to scripts. Okay, so till here ViewGen is completed. Till here ViewGen is completed. Here comes the controller. Controller, again, as I said, we will create different types of scenarios: load test, endurance test, scalability test, different options, how to trigger execution, what are runtime settings and SLAs, how to configure SLAs, runtime settings. Okay. Then you have analysis. I mean, this 15th point, it is also covered as part of controller only, where we monitor different graphs. Then you have analysis. What are the different metrics it is providing? What each metric is saying about the test results? Is it a good test? Is it a bad test? Or is it a failed test? How do you analyze from the analysis? All these things we are going to discuss, and we'll also discuss how to identify the key bottlenecks, the frequent bottlenecks, the important bottlenecks. Okay. Then you have some one session for analyzing results and providing observations. Then this is also very important, drafting email with all observations to client. So why this is important? Because see, you learn scripting, you know how to execute, you know how to analyze. But even if you master all of these, if you are not able to present the results in a better way to the client, all the work that you have done will go for a toss. So you have to know the best way to present all the important metrics to client. So you have to tell clearly what did you observe from the load test that you ran. Okay, what are your key findings? So based on your input only, the client will take a call. Okay, whether the application is doing well, application is not doing well, what they have to do, they will take a call based on your opinion, based on your findings. That's the reason this point is very, very important. We have a separate session for that. Then we have then there is one thing called interview question and answers we'll discuss. Then scripting practice on multiple applications, again very, very, very important. See, we are not going to do scripting practice only on one sample application like WebTools. We will be practicing on multiple applications because every application is a different challenge. Every application might be a different challenge. So every application will have different workflows. Okay, the script that gets generated for every application might be different, the challenges might be different. That's the reason the more applications you practice, the more easy for you to write scripting for other applications in your real-time projects. So that's the reason, apart from web tools, we will also be practicing on other multiple applications. Okay, so one good application is our website itself, which is specifically designed to learn scripting from very basic to advanced concepts. Okay, so I mean the application will give you all the real-time challenges as well. So whatever the frequent challenges, real-time challenges that you face, those challenges we will face in our application itself, and we will learn how to handle them. Okay, and there are, as I said, there are other couple of applications also which we'll practice apart from this. And we will also discuss a concept called virtual table server, which is again it's all about passing test data only, but in a different way. It's a different session altogether. So let me go to next slide. So apart from the complete LoadRunner course topics what I mentioned, these are the bonus topics which will be covered, okay, as part of this course. Why these bonus topics? Because in the current market trend, they expect a performance tester to know at least some information about the APM tools like AppDynamics, Dynatrace. What are the different metrics that you analyze? How do you identify bottlenecks using APM tools? One session on CI/CD Jenkins. How do you trigger a load runner local scenarios from Jenkins? Why Jenkins? What is GitHub? Why Jenkins? Okay, what is the how Jenkins is being incorporated into the performance testing world? Okay, and then we'll also discuss. We'll also have one session on true client protocol. It's a different protocol altogether. Then we'll also discuss about thread dumps and heap dumps, which is very important concept. Okay, like when you are getting issue like pages loading slowly, pages not responding, page completely down, pages completely down, then you have to download something called thread dumps or heap dumps. So how do you analyze them? Okay, we have to discuss that, because from there also the interview questions will come for sure. Then we'll discuss about load balancer algorithms. I'm sure you might not know what is load balancer algorithm by now. You'll come to know in next few days. Okay, and then we'll also see how to connect to data, how to connect to database through LoadRunner directly. Okay, apart from all these live sessions, you'll also get recorded sessions of web services, how to do the performance testing for web services. Okay, so this on all in all, this is the overall course content. Okay, so now I will open the forum to post your questions. Okay, let me check if I have any questions in the chat window first. Okay, Kumar, load generator is it's a machine. I mean, it's a highly configured machine. It's not a software. It's a highly configured machine. Yes. Tejasri, uh, after recording the code, it will come in by default, I mean, it depends on the code. It depends on the type of language that you select here. So if you go to recording options, okay, if you go to recording options here, you have C language and JavaScript, both you will have here. So how the code will come up depends on the option that you have chosen here. 99% of the projects are running on C language. Okay, as per my knowledge, more than 90% of the projects are running on C language. Okay, Java. The reason why they are still running, why they are running on C language is because there are solutions for all the issues that we get frequently in LoadRunner. Okay, for C language. Okay, JavaScript, not much help in different forums. Okay, and at the same time, the project should have some uniformity across, across the team. So if you are developing the script in C, if other team member is developing in JavaScript, that doesn't make sense. So that's the reason projects use or follow the C language for scripting purpose. Okay. Yes, Krishna. It supports Windows and web application. Yes, supports Windows, web, mobile, and other different protocols also, like web services. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay. Uh, yes, the regular sessions will happen from the regular sessions will happen. Regular sessions will be from Monday to Friday every week. Okay, and Saturday, Sunday, you can practice the same. Okay, if you have any questions over the weekend, you can directly call me. Okay, I'm always available on WhatsApp. Okay, and during weekdays until Saturday, one of our team member will also assist you in clarifying your doubts. Okay, if not, you can always reach out to me.
What will be the timings for this?
Same time, like today, whatever the time we started, right?
9
The
to
same
10?
time. Yeah, 9 to 10.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
And daily recorded sessions will be provided to you on daily basis, and the recorded sessions will be there with you for lifetime. Okay, you can always go and refer in future also. Yes,
What is
Tejasvi,
the
I'll be
course duration?
explaining the redirection concept also.
What is
Course
the course
duration.
duration?
Generally, I mean, earlier it used to take 30 sessions, but now we have added all these bonus topics, right? According to the current market trend, what they are asking, I've added all the bonus topics, right? So that's the reason it is taking 42 to 45 sessions.
Do you provide any experience like project, any real-time project, like real-time scenarios?
Yeah, real-time scenarios. I will explain, because the application what we practice, right? The application what we practice is the real application only, the Isha Training Solutions.com. So it's a very a good application for scripting or handling the real-time challenges. So once you practice that and develop scripts end to end and run a load test, that should be fine.
Like how much experience can we expect? Like how much experience we
You
can
can.
claim? Like
So after completing this course, if you practice for a month, you can definitely go for 3 to 5 years of experience.
on load runner.
Yeah, on LoadRunner.
Do we have any project sessions separately? Any projects training?
No, project sessions, not separately. I think we have a separate course for that, I guess, end to end separately. I mean, that course is specifically designed for the guys who already know LoadRunner. I mean, in sense, it's a different course. You can reach out to Kumar sir. Okay, they will
Okay.
definitely,
After
Kumar
completion
sir
of
will
this,
definitely assist you.
I used to
Yeah,
we
yeah.
used to opt
It's a
further.
short course. Yeah, it's a short course, like hardly 10 days or 2 weeks, I guess. So you can just reach out to Kumar sir. Kumar sir will give you further information on that. But having said that, this course also covers all end-to-end scripting, running a load test, taking
Okay.
input, from kind of real input from client and all those things, and all we will be covering here as well. But if you still want to go ahead and uh, do some hands-on, okay, like end-to-end again from right from start to end, you can reach out to Kumar sir.
This one tool is enough for getting the job, or else we need to learn
I
a Jmeter as well.
Uh,
Actually, two tools are good. I
Okay.
mean, considering the current trend, but you can start with one tool. I mean, don't learn two tools. Either you can start with JMeter and complete it and then learn LoadRunner, or you can start with LoadRunner and then complete it and then learn JMeter. If you, I mean, why I'm telling you this is I had a, participant who joined. I mean, who was not joined, who was learning both the courses at the same point of time, ended up in learning little bit from both the tools. Instead of that, I suggest you to master one
Okay.
tool, okay, so that you'll at least be confident on one tool first of all, from basic to advanced. And then if you learn
Okay.
other tool, it will be easy, and then you can start comparing also. Once you know one tool from basic to advanced, when you learn other tool, right, you can start comparing like how that tool worked, how this is working, like that. Now when you start learning both at a time, you cannot even compare, because you know only something here and something there. You don't know full.
Okay. Do we need to have knowledge on any functional testing like manual?
No, not required. Not at all required. That is not at all required.
Okay. Now you are working on LoadRunner, right? Or else complete full
Load runner.
stack SDET.
No. I'm currently working on as a performance engineer. We work on load runner, Jmeter and Blaze meter.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hi,
Okay.
Kaushik.
Yes, please.
Is there any possible to cover monitoring to ELK?
No, I mean, as part of this course, we are just covering, the AppDynamics and Dynatrace, like what is APM tool, what are APM tools, and what is AppDynamics, what is Dynatrace, what are the different metrics that we capture from these tools to identify the key bottlenecks.
And will you use a load runner and will you show, I mean, what kind of, metrics,
Yes,
Dynatrace can capture, using load runner or, these
yes,
things?
yes. So what we do is we run a test from load runner, okay, and then we will parallelly go to AppDynamics and Dynatrace, and we'll see how the data is coming up in those APM tools. How do you analyze the metrics from there? Okay, when the test is going on, or even after the test is completed.
Okay. I have a small business scenario. Uh, can I ask you an example? For example, let's say I have an application and I have, let's say, 20,000 users in that application and 2,000 concurrent users, let's say. And these users, log into that application to access, PDF documents. Usually these documents are stored in Documentum. So imagine if I want to use LoadRunner to perform a test, thing is different user will access different PDF file, right? So in that
Mhm.
scenario, how to use LoadRunner, to create a test in a scenario for that?
Yeah, you can call me. I'll explain you different separately, because it's a different scenario to create altogether. I would be happy to assist you offline for time being,
Yeah, because,
because this is
because
just a demo session, right?
I
So
understand.
yeah,
Because banking application or let's say Flipkart, these
yeah,
things.
that's a common scenario. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we
yeah,
know
downloading
exactly.
PDFs is a common scenario. Yes.
No, no, no. These things we can expect, where user can go in and perform a transaction. But in the case of PDFs, we don't know, which PDF document a particular user may, open, right? So how can we gauge, the performance, in that scenario when you create a virtual users, I was asking that question.
So whoever is user is downloading that particular file, we will try to analyze, like, whether the file is downloaded or not. I mean, based on its download size and all those things.
Yeah, I
So
understand. But how can we create a test scenario for those kind of
that's what.
things?
So that's what, for that you have to call me offline, because it's a separate thing to explain, which might take time for me now, because it's already 10:15, right? So considering the demo session, I request you to call me offline. I can explain you, and the same thing I can explain to all the team members in our upcoming sessions as well, because anyways you posted a good question. The same thing I'll explain to all of them in our upcoming sessions as well.
No.
Okay, any other questions with respect to the course? Uh, One
Do
second.
we need any certification for
Binu,
this?
no, not required. See, generally, as an interviewer, I frequently take interviews. I never check for any certifications as such. Um, I mean, whoever is coming for interview. I mean, that's a core LoadRunner certification and all, not required that much for interview purpose. But one participant asked, like, do we get course completion certificate? Yes, you'll get course completion certificate. Uh, Binu is asking, do we need to change the recording options frequently, or is it done once? So for one application, I think it should be done once, depending on how it is, how it has to be recorded. So for one application, one time is sufficient. No, we need not go and change again and again those recording options.
Regarding
Tejasri 2022.
regarding LoadRunner and Jmeter, the LoadRunner is a paid edition, right? We have a licensing
Yes,
for it, right?
yes,
And this licensing is based on number of virtual users, right?
yes.
And regarding Jmeter, is it like I think it's an open source application?
It's open source only, but there's a different concept like master slave to run. But when the number of users are more, LoadRunner is more reliable. And now for that reason, Jmeter is being integrated with BlazeMeter for execution purpose. That means
Oh,
you can develop script in Jmeter and you can run with huge number of users in BlazeMeter. The same Jmeter script can be uploaded to BlazeMeter and you can run it from there. And results also will be taken care by BlazeMeter itself. Only the script
okay.
development you can do it in Jmeter.
PlaceMeter, is it like a free application or is it a paid application?
It's free for limited number of users. It's paid for more than some number.
Okay. You said you are working on a PlaceMeter and Jmeter as well, right?
Yes.
And did you perform, these activities in, usually at what number, we have to pay?
It depends. It depends on the company. Like, the based on the overall number of users they have. I mean, the licenses will not be purchased at the project level. The licenses will be purchased at the company level. Okay, based on the overall number of users, the number of projects they have. Okay, so they will derive at some number, and they will go ahead and purchase. So I
Okay.
mean, yeah, because there will be different projects across the companies, right? Across the company. So the
Yeah, I
purchase
understand.
will not happen at the project level. Yeah.
Okay.
Ravindra, monitoring tools are nothing but uh, the tools which are used to continuously monitor about how the application is responding, behaving, or performing. Like, we have different metrics, the server side metrics that we have to monitor, like, heap utilization, CPU utilization, any errors, any exceptions. Okay, so there are different things that we monitor from the APM tool, like AppDynamics or Dynatrace. They are used to continuously monitor the system, like how the system is performing. Whereas whereas protocol means, on what on protocol is a different thing. Like, it's all about how the communication mechanism is developed between different components in the project architecture. So actually the project architect will decide the protocol. So the protocol is all nothing but it's all about the set of rules, how two different components communicate between each other. For example, uh, from the UI, you click a button. Let's say you click a
Okay.
button and the request will go to some server. So when the request will go to some server, whatever this client is sending to server, this has to understand, right? The server has to understand. Then only it can process and send the response back. So how it understands? So the understanding will happen based on the protocol. Protocol means some set of rules. So the client and server should adhere to some set of rules. Okay, then only the communication will happen properly. Okay, the communication mechanism will happen properly. So protocol is a different thing. So we have different protocols for that. I mean, I will be explaining you that protocol concept maybe day after tomorrow. It is. I think after 2 or 3 sessions, there is one concept to be covered for protocol.
Okay. Do you provide any placement assistance?
See, generally Kumar sir will take care of that. In sense, Kumar sir will guide you if there are any openings. Okay. I request you to reach out to Kumar sir once again and discuss with him regarding that. Okay. So I'll just ping you Kumar sir's phone number directly
Okay, okay.
in the chat window. Let me ping you Kumar sir number. You can take Kumar sir number here for any further queries related to placement and all. 5242. Okay. So this is Kumar sir's number. You can directly call him and you can discuss with him. Anyone who has any further questions related to payment and all these things, you can discuss with Kumar sir. Okay. So if you want to make payment, you can just call to this number. They will guide you. Kumar sir will guide you.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I hope I answered all the questions from the chat window. If I missed anything, you can. Yes, Banot. You will get the recorded sessions link in the WhatsApp. I hope I answered all the questions. Anything else? Okay. If any one of you are from non-IT background, all feel free to reach out to me. I will guide you. On how the approach should be in terms of learning. And there are some terms and terminologies that you have to understand because you are new to IT. Okay, so you might have to uh, you know uh, focus little bit more for the first few days, and then you will be in line with all other team members or other participants. Okay,
Do we
whoever is
use
coming from non-IT, please ping me
Python?
separately.
Do we use Python here?
No. LoadRunner doesn't support Python
Python,
as of
okay,
now.
okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Only C, right?
Only C and JavaScript.
Okay.
Okay. So I will be pinging in the WhatsApp group. So anyone can reach out to me. Okay. But especially the guys who are coming from non-IT, please ping me. I'll have a quick word with you, just to make you understand like how the things will be on in which areas you need to concentrate more and all those things.
Regarding
Yeah.
Jmeter, do you teach Jmeter as well?
Yes, I do, but currently, in this month and next month, I'm occupied with some other work. So
Okay.
there are other trainers who are taking up the Jmeter task for now. Okay, please reach out to Kumar sir. He will guide you, to learn Jmeter
Okay.
if you are interested as well. Any questions? Any other questions, guys? I'm happy to assist. I can wait for some more time also. Get all the queries clarified. I mean, there should not be 1% doubt also before you join, before you register. Yes, so far. There will be a session tomorrow. Tomorrow is not a weekend, right? Yes. So tomorrow there will be a session. If there is any change, the admin team will let you know in the WhatsApp. Uh, Banot, yes. Okay, you are from 180. Okay. Do one thing. Ping me on the WhatsApp group. Ping me one to one separately. I'll just ping in the WhatsApp group after this session. You can connect with me. You can connect with me one to one. I'll call you back. Okay. So I hope I clarified all your doubts. If there are any further doubts, right, please ping in the WhatsApp group or call me directly on my WhatsApp number. Okay, I'll ping you in the WhatsApp group right away. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining this session. And I hope to see all of you in the upcoming sessions as well. Have a great rest of the day.